Okay everybody, in today's video we're going to be looking at the German Gewehr 98. And this was Germany's standard issue rifle during World War I. It would also be used post-war heavily and even some into World War II. And this rifle came about basically as Paul Mauser was slowly developing the Mauser rifles. He started, of course, with the 1889 as his first smokeless Mauser, and then continued the development of that, kind of up until the Swedish Mauser, I suppose, would be one of the most recent ones, the 1896. And I believe that's when trials started for the German rifles, was in 1896. And it would kind of be the pinnacle of Paul Mauser's rifle development, at least as far as action went. And there are actually some things on here that Paul Mauser didn't like as much, like the Longa-Visier rear sight, which is the most distinctive part about this rifle, wasn't really his decision. It was basically just from the German commission. They thought this was the best sight, and often called a roller coaster sight. It has this track that the slider runs in, and they go from 400 meters up to 2,000. And I believe the original, if you find one that's not been converted to Spitzer, it'll actually start at, I think, 300 or 200 meters, so that's something to look out for if you find one that's unconverted. And this would originally be in the round-nosed round that the Gewehr 98 was in, but then it was updated to the Spitzer caliber. And the round-nose bullets were smaller in diameter, so if you find one of those guns in the wild and it's in good shape, you're going to want to reload for it as to not basically destroy the rifling. And basically this has a lot of upgrades over the earlier Mausers, like semi-pistol grip stock. It's cock on open instead of cock on close, and the safety works the same as some of the older Mausers. So this is the disassembly position, this is the safe position, and all the way over to the left is fire. And this example is actually all matching still. Everything on it matches except for the two screws that hold into the stock. And up at the front, they made something new for the Gewehr 98, which was this bayonet lug that is purely on the stock, so that you could attach the bayonet and it wouldn't, have a ring hanging onto the muzzle to try to mitigate your point of impact change from fixing the bayonet. You also have your cleaner right up there, and the sling is kind of unique for the Gewehr 98. It uses a quick detach style sling, and right now it's in the parade configuration, and you basically take it off that hook up there and push your lever down here. If you take it off that hook, you can pull it down and attach it to its actual rear sling swivel. And they have that parade set up so you can, for one, use the rifle on parade, but also keep the sling out of the way. If you maybe have all the rifles stacked up on, have them stacked up in a rifle teepee, so your sling doesn't get in the mud or anything else, or get snagged on another rifle. And this rifle was made in 1904 at the Amberg Arsenal. There were a whole bunch of different arsenals that made Gewehr 98, so that's something, if you're going to get into them, you want to do your research to, know what's more common, what's more sought after. And I've also got one of the bayonets that's called the Butcher Blade, and some of those will have a sawback, and if you find one with a sawback, those are more valuable and sought after. They also originally had a thinner style bayonet that was the original one chosen, and then later switched to the Butcher Blade. Feeds with 5-round stripper clips. These would be made until 1918, when at the end of the war the production stopped. I believe there would be over 4 million of these made, and just all around a really cool rifle, and it's getting increasingly hard to find them in nice shape today. So I think that's about all I'm going to say about it, so let's get into shooting it some. Alright, we're going to start out with 5 rounds down at 100 yards. And a couple things I forgot to mention at the start of the video is that this rifle was made in 1904, but it has some upgrades done to it that were done later in the war, like the stock disc, which didn't start getting implemented until 1916 or 17, so it was refurbished during the war at some point, you know, during the middle or later in the war. And the roller coaster sights have a neat feature which isn't found on a lot of rifles, in which you can press one of the buttons and push it forward just one by one to slowly bump it up by 50 meters at a time, which that's not really used at all today since most people are shooting at under 400 meters, but kind of a neat feature that you can slowly click it up 50 meters at a time. The ammo we're shooting is a PPU Full Metal Jacket. That's all 5 rounds. Alright, here's our group. We got 5 rounds. It's a little bit high and to the left, and it's a decent group. Alright, we're going to do another 5 rounds down at 100 yards. And, this time, I aim a little bit lower to try to get it a little bit more on target. And for these next couple rounds, they're going to be soft point PPU ammo. I believe the last rounds we were shooting were 198 grain, and these are 196. That's all 5 rounds. Alright, here's our group, and a lot tighter group this time. Moved it down a little bit, just aiming at the base of the plate instead of the middle. And real nice group out of this gun. Alright, for the next 5 rounds, I'll try to aim at the bottom right corner of the plate. And just see if I can get a group on the plate. That's all 5. Alright, here's our next group, and actually I managed to get a couple of them touching the plate. And these 4 are a real nice group, and I guess for this one I probably just shifted a little bit too much over here. But yeah, it's a real nice group out of this rifle, especially for the age of it. Okay everybody, that's going to be it for the video. We had a lot of fun with the Gewehr 98. And this one shot real good for being a 121-year-old rifle. And this rifle went through World War I, got brought back, and I guess just the veteran that brought it back, you know, probably took it apart when he brought it back and misplaced the screws, because that's the only thing that doesn't match on this example. And one of the screws is another German screw, and then the other one is a Argentine screw out of a Argentine 1891 or 1909 Mauser. With just kind of an interesting detail. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it, so we'll catch you in the next one.